for a 7-day trip or even longer can be overwhelming and sometimes even stressful. Now, minimalism is by no means a cure for stress. It can help, though, to alleviate some of it if it's kept in its proper perspective. Welcome back everyone, Mrs. H here, and today I'm offering 6 minimalist tips for packing for a week-long vacation. Now, it's important to note that if not viewed properly, minimalism can also become stressful if too much time or effort is put into quote-unquote making it work. The goal of packing like a minimalist is simply to limit the stress by lightening the load. And it should never be too difficult to lighten your load. If it is difficult, you're giving it way too much priority. Be careful to never lose sight of who you are to any process, because doing so is hardly sustainable. Now look, I'm no psychologist, but experience has taught me that excessive baggage, no pun intended, is also a form of losing who you are, especially if the load becomes burdensome. Okay, let me get off my soapbox and let's get to these tips. Tip number 1 is to start with a challenge for yourself. Depending on where you are going, challenge yourself to use only one piece of luggage per person and one carry-on or carry-around bag. Yes, believe me, it can be done without having to sacrifice any of your necessities, even for a week-long vacation. Now that leads to tip number 2, which is to stick to your necessities. This is generally the hardest tip for most people. Packing necessities doesn't mean you won't need an extra pair or 2 of undergarments or anything else for just in case. It does mean, however, things like travel-sized toiletries should not be duplicated, but replaced as needed, and they should remain in your toiletry bag for each trip. Now, tip number 3 is you'll want to plan your activities ahead of time so you'll know how to pack. For example, if you'll need more upscale attire for a night out, decide ahead of time what you'll wear and bring that. The important thing here is to not bring choices. Now, tip number 4 is you'll want to choose lightweight fabrics including cotton, silk, rayon, linen, or even polyester. This will definitely help to lighten your load and may even allow you to carry more items for layering if you are traveling to a cooler climate. Tip number 5, choose no more than 2 pair of lightweight shoes that can preferably work with different outfits, but you want to make sure that they are comfortable enough for walking. One word of note is that this shoe limit doesn't necessarily have to include your shower shoes or beach shoes. These type of shoes are often very lightweight and they don't take up a lot of room at all. Tip number 6 is you'll want to roll your clothing instead of folding them. Rolling your clothing frees up space and can help to reduce wrinkles or creases. Now listen, there's a well-known saying out there, my husband uses it quite often, that it's better to have and not need than to need and not have. While in theory this is true, in life though, it isn't always practical. For example, when you're packing for a trip, consider the excess weight fees you're charged at airports and train stations, or even the difficulty involved in lugging around excess weight versus the freedom experienced with lightly weighted luggage. Remember, travel is hectic enough with wait times, security checks, tolls, and more. Why not try to see if just one of these tips can make life just a little easier for you? Now that you're aware, please share. And for more like this coming down the pike, all we ask is that you please like. Above all, be kind. And we'll see you in the next video or over at our detailed Patreon channel coming soon.